You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. I'm wearing this thing, Ryan. It's like a scarf thing for like you can just pull it up. They're a lot easier than masks.
So that's what it is.
But I kind of feel like it adds a little style to me.
It's
Is it
European.
Is it a statement or is it people are going to be like, dude, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, it also.
Should I take it off?
No, it looks great.
Are you lying?
Uh-huh.
Yep, I'm going to take it off. Oh, shoot. I got my headphones off. I trust Ryan's opinion. If Ryan says take it off.
Well, it was like sort of like making your neck look longer or strained.
Giraffe-like.
Giraffe-like.
By the way, did you get my text a few minutes ago?
I did.
What was the text?
You said you were constipated.
Yes. I just wanted to fill you in because I know you're set up down here.
Oh, I was ready to go, and it was.
Some people are turned off right now, but that's.
Well, I mean, I appreciate the update, really.
It's been a crazy week, man. The world is still crazy, but I read a lot of good news. The vaccine and stuff like that. It's promising. It looks like maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and these test kits and all that stuff. So that that's hopefully 2020 we could put behind us soon enough, but not soon enough.
No, it
has not been a great year for anyone. This week we have a great episode from the show Psych. If you haven't seen it, but these two guys are so dynamic. They might as well be a couple. In fact, I think we talk about that.
We do.
But James Roday, Dulé Hill, both work a lot and charming. The show ran a long time. And they worked with a guy, an actor, a great actor, Tim Omundson. And Tim Omundson, it's a follow-up for next week. They talk about him. He had a stroke. And what a tragic story, but then a uplifting story about how he has gotten back on his feet and just a lot of love. And that's next week, the Tim Omundson episode. And we have a very special guest for the intro who doesn't do many interviews. I don't think I'll even mention her name, but an actress that also faced a lot of adversity and has just, you keep going. I think what's great is when you hear these stories, you think, oh, well, I'm not that bad. Or, oh, I don't have, I didn't have a stroke. Or I didn't have MS, or I don't have MS, or I don't. So you put things into perspective, and when you can hear other people talk about their pains and things. Don't you think that does help?
Yeah, for sure.
Because most things we talk about are trivial. Some aren't, but a lot of things are like, oh, my anxiety. It's like, okay, well, let's manage it. Let's. So that's a big episode next week. Thank you for subscribing. Big shout out to the Stage It winners. If you haven't done Stage It, I'd love to see some of you guys. I mean, all the people that listen. I play live music. My partner, friend, Rob Danson, he and I were in a band called Left on Laurel, and then we actually came up with a new band title, and I'm going to say it right now. Sunspin. It's California. It's we met at this place called Sunset Sundays that James Gunn's brother Sean Gunn, an actor, used to have, and we met there. And spin is kind of like records and California life. So I thought it was simple. It wasn't too pretentious or anything. It was just Sunspin. The more you say it, the more you might like it. If you guys don't like it, I'm sure I'll hear from you. What? Why don't you go with your dog's name, Blanche? Taken. Sunset Sunday was taken. So Sunspin. Yeah. Think about that.
I'm gonna marinate on it. But
it's pretty much a done deal. But we had to stage it, and people come and they watch live music, and we play for about 45, 50 minutes. We play. We had a Halloween special. We're doing a Thanksgiving, post-Thanksgiving bash. Saturday, November 28th is actually the anniversary of my grandfather passing, the 1-year anniversary. But we're playing 2 shows, 2 p.m. Pacific time and 6 p.m. Pacific time, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, anybody who's come, we get hundreds of people come on, and there's you can come and just watch, and then top bidders, which I'll name now. They bid, they get Zooms after the show and prizes and shirts and a bunch of stuff. And it's just a great time. I really fell in love with music. Talk about something that, I don't expect to become a rock star. I don't expect to make millions of dollars. Don't laugh, Ryan, you fuck. But I don't expect to make millions of dollars. I just love it. It's a passion. And there's something nice about just saying, I want to do this because I like it. And it's taken me a while. I always figured, I have to be great at this. It's not that I don't want to be great at it, but it's a challenge, and it's something I really, really love. And the patrons on patreon.com/inside of you and the people coming to stages, they support and help help get our album made, which we're in the probably got a month or two left, and we're done.
Sweet.
But the first show, the winners were Emily Sudol, my friend Emily Sudol, and Jennifer Neal. And the second show, Deb Alexa, was the first place bidder. And so thank you guys, and thank you all to patrons all over the world, and everybody who listens. If you want to be a Patreon, again, go to patreon.com/insideofyou. You get to certain tiers. You can ask guest questions called Shit Talking with Rosenbaum, which you hear at the end of the episodes. And Inside of Me, where you ask me questions and I create a character talking to myself, asking your questions. I was even thinking of trying to incorporate somehow how a patron can actually be on the show or whatever. We'll figure that out later. But go to patreon.com/insideofyou. And the Stage It, if you want to watch us and support us and make sure you follow us, is Stage It. Just go to stageit.com and type in Michael Rosenbaum, and then you can follow me and see when the shows are. But next Saturday, the 28th, this coming Saturday, 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. shows Pacific time. Yeah, I love it. I love doing it. And yeah, our album's coming out soon, probably January, February. And of course, the Inside of You online store. Just go to Inside of You online store. In fact, take 15% off by using the code INSIDE15. Shirts, awesome tumblers, autographed mugs, shirts, all that crap. Wine glasses, we got great stuff. And yeah, and of course, the number one thing is, Ryan, what's our handle for the, if you want to follow us?
They're at Inside of You Pod on Twitter, at Inside of You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, youtube.com/Inside of You.
When you subscribe and write a review, it really helps. And those that have been listening for a long time, you know that because you hear me say it. But you probably need to say it every time, right? Also, thank you. I just thought I'd give a shout out. I don't know if any of you know, but I played Lex Luthor on the show Smallville for many years.
What?
Yeah. But, you know, Entertainment Weekly, I was sent this today, said editor's choice, and it said, please join me as I watch WBCW's groundbreaking Superman origin drama, which features Michael Rosenbaum giving the best Lex Luthor performance ever. That was from the editor of Entertainment Weekly. And I thought I'd share that because it's cool. And it makes me smile. It's nice to, you know, when someone, I just like to say, hey, thanks. That's freaking cool. It's nice when somebody it's a big, they have 6 million things, and I retweeted them. I was like, thanks. And I'll talk to Warner Brothers about it. You bastards.
You are appreciated.
Well, you know, it's nice because, you know, you work hard and then you're like, you know, it's just nice to hear. It does fill the ego. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing with going, hey, look at that, Entertainment Weekly, Deadline, Screen Rant. Many people think, you know, I'm okay. I need it sometimes. I need the fuel. It's like going to the gas station and you have a little car that's okay. And you're like, you know, I'm giving the good gas this time. I don't need it, but I do. Maybe my car will run better. It won't. It will run the same. Probably worse. Terrible analogy. Stay tuned after the show. I'll probably read a fan letter and, of course, reading all the patron names. If you're a patron, I usually send you a message. I'll text you one. I always do, actually. And then I read top tier patron names at the end of the episode. But this is a great episode. I love these guys. I had them on a long time ago, but it was just audio. It wasn't video. And they're a lot of fun. I mean, you're going to have fun this episode. You can see how they go. They hand in hand.
They're a lot of fun.
It's just, was it fun editing?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I figured you'd have a good time doing that. And you'll have a good time listening, guys. Just a shout out to the charities I love, the Ronald McDonald House of Los Angeles, the foodonfoot.org, echoesofhope.org, any of those if you're in the giving spirit, you know, there's that. Thank you for listening and subscribing to the show and supporting us. We really appreciate it. I mean, we do. New posters, Return of the Living Dead, Friday the 13th. I just watched all the Friday the 13th with my horror Zoom guys. Not great movies, but a lot of fun. The first one was good. Second one and maybe one other was decent. But and actually the one Jared Padalecki, this is kind of neat. So I had Jared Padalecki and Danielle Panabaker, actors. They left messages and said all my friends' names and said, hey, nerd guys. I told them what to say. And they kind of said hello to all the horror guys that I watched the Zoom with. Because we just watched, that was the last one we watched. So now we're on the Nightmare on Elm Street and we're watching all of them. So we're on one. And I got the boys a little keychain, a little Friday the 13th mask keychain as kind of like, you made it, you survived Friday the 13th, all of them. And if you see my posts, I would say Friday the 13th Part 9 is not a very good movie. And people are like, what? Or, yeah, you'd think, dude, it's part 9. So it's fun because they think, I don't know if they half of them think I'm serious or half of, whatever. Don't forget next week, Tim Omundson, big episode from Psych. He talks about surviving his stroke and how he deals with that. You're going to love that episode. And this episode is fantastic. So why don't we just hop into it? Let's get inside Dulé Hill and James Roday Rodriguez. It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience. Do you guys like James, when Dulé pops on the screen, your first feeling, is it immediately a smile or this guy, or in your head you're like, ugh, so fucking tired of it?
It's usually just a reminder that I need to shit.
I mean, that's just the effect they have on people, I mean, that's why I like to pop up in some places. I randomly like to pop up just to remember, to remind Roday to make his bowels move.
That's right.
That's it. It could be effective, but also it's kind. It's a nice gesture.
Yeah, it's really clean.
It's friendship. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan here, my engineer, you don't see him. And my friend Troy, we came up with this, that you guys are the most diverse, non-romantic, hetero power couple in Hollywood.
That's a lot of subsets to get to a profound statement, but...
Did you say power? You said power or non-power?
No, I said most diverse, non-romantic, hetero power couple. I didn't mean non-power.
I think non-power is funnier.
Yeah.
You think that's what I should have added?
Yeah, if you said it real fast, that you could have really snuck that in there, and we probably wouldn't even realize it.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are on one of the most successful shows. You've worked together forever. We talked about this a long time ago, but do you still talk every day? Do you still text each other every day? Or is it more every couple of weeks? It can't be that perfect all the time. It can't be that easy. No non-romantic hetero power couple has ever not had a school.
You got to get it right. It's non-power couple.
It's non-power couple. Come on.
Non-power couple.
Let's all get on that page because it's fun.
Come on.
Well, is that just because it's self-deprecating? Is that just because you guys don't really, you think that's a joke? Because you have power.
Well, we didn't get that memo. So if this is you telling us for the first time that we have power, this is fun, man. Who told you? Who's this coming from?
Anybody who has a say on a TV show that they're working on and is involved in, whether it's writing, creativity, movies, has a say and is responsible for its evolution. There's some kind of power there that I think that is warranted.
I see where you're coming from.
You see where I'm coming from? How many people could say that? In Smallville, I was just like, hit the mark, Baldy. Say your lines.
Yeah, but you knew they were talking to you when they said that, right? When they dropped a Baldy.
You were the only bald guy on there, you know what I mean?
That is true.
No, but to your point, it's been, we've been very lucky in that regard. We get way more say on that show than any actors probably should ever have. But, it's also the kind of show where, inmates can run the asylum and it still sort of feels like the show. So, it's also, it's specific to what we do on that show. Couldn't have pulled that off on The West Wing, right? Couldn't have given actors that kind of power. Wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah, no. It probably would have turned into a very different administration, very different.
Was that hard, Dulé? When you're in West Wing, was it just always a lot of lines, always just hit your mark? You never really said much. Did you ever say things about your character, or are you one of those actors who just go with it, or just I don't want to slow production down with all these questions. Let's just do it. It's not like I'm going to change that much.
Well, one, when you're doing the words of Aaron Sorkin, he's very, I guess, proficient in creating scenes and creating dynamics within characters that are fully developed. So it wasn't a lot of having to talk about that. But if there was some things that came up that, moments that you wanted to go through, I would talk about it. But oftentimes it wasn't that complicated. I mean, we just had to tell the story.
Right.
When you're working with Martin Sheen and Allison Janney and doing the words of Aaron Sorkin, it's like,
was he one of those guys that would be like, yeah, he said there's no the in between.
Yes.
Come on. Yes. I never understood that. Is that true? That happens?
Yeah. Even if there's like a dot in between the words, you're supposed to give a little air there. But the thing is, once you, I guess you really jumped in and you didn't fight it, like within your own self, you kind of went on the ride. You realize that it worked. You realize that this is somebody who really put in the time to craft every nuance within the dialogue. If you just went with it, you would realize that there was a song to sing. If we can all get on board, then we can create something special.
What about when Roday would direct or write something? Would he go, "Hey, Dulé, you didn't say the"?
I think Roday would more be like, just get make sure you get the rest of it.
If you just get the, we're good.
Yeah, it's important you get the, but after that, just as long as you get the general gist of everything, then it's all good. Just tell the story.
That's hilarious.
Going back to your original question too, is like I think we probably talk like at least text like once or twice a week. At the least amount would be like once or twice a week, but pretty much every couple of days there's some text going back about something.
Something.
Check in.
Just to check in.
Plus, I got to see pics of the boy. The boy's growing up.
Yes, he is.
For our very eyes.
How old is he?
He is now 15 months. So 15 months in about a week now.
Is that hard because you can't really share him with the family and friends, and it's just this whole 15 months of like, somebody else watch my kid, please?
No, it's not that. Cause I love spending time with him. We have so much fun together. Actually, in the midst of this time, he brings me so much joy and kind of brings me sanity in the midst of the craziness that's going on in the world. But there is a sadness though of other people not being able to be intimately along the journey.
Right.
Like I do look forward to, and I still miss even the idea of people just stopping by. Say Roday's in town and stopping by and hanging out with him for a little bit.
Yeah.
You would know who these people are. Like, yes, I know you because you come by often. There is no coming by right now, which is a little sad, but hopefully this will only be for a season and it'll pass on.
Hey, what's that sound?
What sound is that?
It's terrible. It's one of you guys. It's Dulé. It's Dulé's.
All right, I'll be back.
No problem.
What's going on with you, Rosie? Give me the quick update. How's pandemic life treating you?
Up and down, man. The busier I am, man, you know how it goes. If I spiral quickly. If I do not stay active, if I don't get out of the house, I started golf, and I always hated golf, and now I'm just alone on a golf course or with a buddy who's being respectful, and I'm now competitive with it. I love it. It gets me out of the house. I got dogs. I got, I'm creating a couple horror projects, and it's good, but I feel that sort of depression and anxious feeling that it lingers there. That's there, and if I'm not aware of it, if I don't go, hey, that's there. Let's get away from that. Or if I start going, then it's just, you don't deal with that.
I've had look, we're all having incredibly unique experiences because this is unprecedented, right? So it's going to affect all of us differently. But I have found that a lot of white noise went away for me. And in a weird way, I got clarity that I wasn't expecting. Like personal clarity. I've gotten a lot of writing done with an efficiency that I'm not accustomed to. And I think it's because all the shit that swarms around us that we've become conditioned to dealing with from the moment we leave the house isn't there. It's a new cloud for sure, but it's a different cloud. And I don't know. I guess I'm one of those jerks who has had something of a revelatory experience because of everything that's been happening.
I think that makes perfect sense. And I think in a lot of ways I have become, what's the word when you when you reliable, what's the word?
Sufficient.
Self-sufficient. Thank you. That's a word I couldn't find. But I have become, so all of a sudden I'm doing like, you know what? I'll print out the merch things, and I'll go to the post office, take all the merch, and I'm just doing, I'm taking the old dog to the vet 4 times a week, and I'm doing this, and I'm sending flowers to I had an assistant. I had somebody who always helped me with these things, and I've been traveling on shows and doing this. And now that I'm here and now I'm alone, I have just maybe grown up a little bit, but I also feel like I have been creative. But I also feel that this FOMO, that there's none of that. There's not like, hey man, we're all going to the ball game. Hey, we're all going to here. Hey, this is happening. Hey, Rosenbaum, when are you having a barbecue? Hey, when we're going to, there's nothing. So I'm like, I don't have to do shit. I could just do my shit. Dulé, how do you feel about that?
Hello.
Yep, that's it.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
And you look good in headphones. Do you have like 10 pairs of headphones? So that those are the best, the pair that look best on you?
No, actually, I have this one, and I just got another pair the other day that I haven't used yet. But no, I don't have a lot of headphones. I don't use a lot of headphones. But it's weird because it's not giving me the sound of myself, so I'm kind of muffled to myself. But it's like, it's good though. It's like I'm talking to myself in a cocoon. It's like I'm just having a little me time, but you're right on the outside of it. So it's
I don't know what's
nice
funny, hearing you say that or watching James listen to you say that. Maybe if you take one of your headphones off, would that help? Try that.
Oh, you see what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, but that does help. You give it a little bit, right? It does help.
You see what I'm saying?
Hey, back to the whole Psych thing, and we can go, because I want to talk about little horror movies. I want to talk about music. I want to talk about a bunch of stuff. And by the way, this won't be that long because I don't like to talk too long. But to be able to do a movie off a TV show, it baffles me. And people are like, why don't you do a Smallville movie? Why? Like, no one's ever asked. And I'm old, but Lex could be old. So I'm like, I don't know why. We could do a follow-up. That'd be fun, right? But then I'm like, then you make another one. And you guys, there was some interview where somebody asked you, you said you would keep doing it no matter what. Like, you love it. Just keep them coming. Is that true? Would you continue to do these?
I mean, yeah, I think in a vacuum, it's tough to say that. But if all of the key elements remain in place, and that one of the biggest is the appetite from the fans, then yeah, we've always sort of said that, this was a gift of a job that kind of changed all of our lives in wonderful ways. And, people still want it, and we can come together once every couple of years. We want to see each other anyway. Like, it's an opportunity for like a family reunion, basically. So, and they never give us much time to shoot these things. So it's not like it really cuts into anybody's schedule. And I think, it'd be dope to be part of something where you see a character age from, their late 20s to their deathbeds, even though Dulé will always look the same. Like, people will be able to document that it's been, a long time.
It's going to be like Psych 10. Psych 10, Sean loses his hair. You see,
right?
He's the thinning hair movie. I mean, that's going to be such a heart wrenching, on an all new special Psych movie. You see what I'm saying?
But you would do it, Dulé, too. You feel the same way James does about it.
Yeah, I mean, I love the cast. I love working all the creators involved. I love the crew. We have a wonderful time, and it's as Roday was saying, it's a family reunion. So I think as long as people wanted to see it, and that's and that's the side of it that I also enjoy is the fact that people really look forward to the movies coming out. They look forward to seeing where these characters are. So I think as long as the appetite was there for it, I would love to keep doing it. Why not?
Yeah, one of my friends, I've known him for a long time. He was actually my assistant on Smallville and some other things. His name's Troy, and I talk about him every once in a while. But Troy said that show, it's like no other show. He does tons of extra work. You might know redheaded Troy.
Oh, I know you.
Oh yeah. Troy used to work on set.
Right.
Yeah.
He said he would just show up on set sometimes just because everybody just had so much fun and everybody loved that show and the crew would just talk about it. I've never heard someone, I mean, look, we had a great crew. People liked it. It was really hard work, but like the response that I hear is just like, it was just, all they want to do is work on Psych. It was the best job ever. And you felt that? Did you guys feel that?
Yeah, because I think on our show, like everyone was just respected. We all came to have a good time. No one took themselves too seriously. I think oftentimes, especially when you get actors on television shows, they can really start to take themselves seriously, and that has a domino effect. It really changes the energy inside, inside the space, really. And on our show, Roday and I, we were thankful to have a job. We wanted to make sure that everyone was always respected and appreciated. And I think that just translated throughout the set. So when anyone came, they always had a good time.
We never got tripped up by that existential sort of creative integrity conversation that I think happens a lot when a series begins to sustain itself. I mean, when Dulé's dressed up like a wizard and my character suddenly doesn't know how to tell time anymore. It's tough to take anything too seriously. I mean, the bits that we were doing day in and day out, like they just lend themselves to nonsense. Like very rarely did we stop and like question any of the things that could potentially lead to conflict on a set. Plus, it was a well-oiled machine. We never went over. Everybody always got to go home and see their kids, which is a big deal, as you know, in this business. To be able to have a job where you can say good morning and good night to your children is very rare. And that's what Psych was. So, of course, everybody, in the crew wanted that gig.
But there had to be, James, there had to be along the way a guest star who shows up who just is like a stick in the spokes, who just is like, whoa, this guy's an asshole. This guy is like, he's just like, he's talking down to people. He's a pain in the ass. I'm sure you had to see that.
So few, though. Mm-hmm. So few, you can count them on one hand, honestly. And the reason was always the same. They didn't know the show. They didn't know what they were coming to be a part of, and they didn't get how we did things.
And the thing is, too, is that even when you're guesting on the show, you cannot come and just blatantly be an asshole if that's not what people are doing. It's like we just wouldn't stand for it.
Right.
I mean, there'd be people who could maybe try to push it a little bit, but they're only there it's a cable show, so we didn't have some long shoots. You're only there for a week anyway, or if that.
Right.
And, but again, if you're coming into the set and everyone is, especially Roday and I, are not really coming with that energy, and then Tim and Maggie aren't coming with that energy, it doesn't really leave room for you to come to
right. If the leads are, it's like leading by example. It's like, how could I be an asshole if everybody's so nice around me? But did you ever see in all these years, how many years of Psych?
8.
Did you ever see James, you ever see Roday just go, what the hell are we doing? Come on! This is ridiculous.
No, but we did have a camera assistant have a tiny meltdown once, which became one of the great runners of our show.
Take me there.
We were doing...
Always spinning!
We were doing some very rare process trailer work, back before everybody started doing it on green screen. And he was on one trailer. We were in the car. The director was going on about whatever the director was going on about, and he couldn't tell if his camera was malfunctioning or not. So he asked on his radio if we were speeding, if someone could tell him, and no one would answer him. And the conversations just kept going, and people were futzing and doing all that stuff. And we just sort of watched him slowly have like a nervous breakdown until finally he just screamed into his walkie, "Are we speeding?" And there was no irony to it. He wasn't doing a bit. We were like, holy shit, Trevor's just lost it. Holy shit, Trev, you lost it, man. And then everybody was able to laugh, including Trevor. But it was like, that's it. Because those instances were so rare, we can remember them very clearly, and they become stories because it just never happened.
I remember some meltdowns. But, I mean, it was usually a great set, but we were doing 22 episodes, 1-hour dramas. It was working 14, 16-hour days. It was 15 actors, guest stars, explosion, sci-fi. I've seen it. I've seen everybody upset. It wasn't just Psych season 8 where everybody's going, all right, are the cupcakes coming in? We're just like, yeah.
And there was times where people would be tired and exhausted and this and that, but I think people still just maintained a level of composure throughout it,
Yeah.
And again, thankfully on Psych, both Roday and I, we were thankful to have a job. We were thankful to be doing what we were doing. We were thankful for the cast and the crew that we were able to hang with every day. And the main thing that we, I think, just really demanded of everybody is just to give respect to everybody.
I love that.
So, I mean, as long as everyone played in that sandbox, then all was well. But if we ever got to the point where somebody was not playing in that sandbox, then one of us would
step up.
You're not going to win this battle.
Right. One of you is going to stick up for one of you is going to take the initiative. I mean, look, I hear you. I mean, I did a short-lived show for 2 years, and I remember being the lead and a producer on it and just saying, hey, we're not here to make art. We're here to make fart. Let's have fun. Let's laugh. And that's how it was. Everybody in that crew, we had the best freaking time. It was never tense. And that it was a comedy. It was.
It's funny. I remember like what was it? Like season 1, I think we had a producer who was brought up to kind of run the ship.
Oh yeah.
And it was from, I think, this moment that we realized, okay, this is what the show is going to be. We're going to all just have a good time. And I'll never forget me and Roday and the crew were there just like laughing and having a good time. And the day's going, it's starting to go, so we need to get work done, but we're getting it done. And I'll never forget, he came and he was like, all right, guys, enough. Let's get to work. And I remember I was like, okay.
You did it like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. It was also like, it was the only attempt that the studio ever made at having like representation on our set. And it was such a quick and easy lesson that they learned of just like, oh, it's not that show. We're just going to have to roll with this because that's not going to work. So he was only there for like maybe 6 episodes or something. Yeah. And then they pulled him out, and we never had a producer on set again. Like,
no,
that's yeah.
And then even like if there was a director that was an asshole, either myself or Roday or somebody would just kind of give a call and say, yeah, that person can't come back because. And even if they treated us fine, because sometimes we would even hear that for us we loved them, and then we'd hear later on, oh no. They treated the crew like an asshole. They were dicks to the crew. They just wouldn't come back. We said, no, well, we can't do that. That's not what we're doing over here.
Did you get on the call, or one of you, or both of you, or just send an email, or what was it?
Yeah, at the end of each season, it was basically like, who'd you guys like? Who didn't you like? Who should we bring back? And we were the ones that were there. Nobody else was there. So there's the power that you were referring to.
There it is. Inside of You is brought to you by Geico. Ryan, Geico is everywhere. Geico is important. Geico, obviously, they've been around a while. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, you own your own home? You rent it?
I rent my apartment. Well,
it's not easy, like especially, in LA or wherever you are, paying rent. That's always the big thing is the mortgage or the rent.
Yep.
It's like always people's biggest issue. It's like, I got to pay the mortgage this year. I got to pay rent. Mm-hmm. But what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico.
Oh.
Yeah. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit Geico, Geico, geico.com today. That's geico.com. Inside of You is brought to you by Echelon. A lot of times when you read copy, you don't have things to look at or things to use. And Echelon really especially during this whole last year, has saved me in a lot of ways. I don't leave the house, nor should a lot of people, nor did they leave during this whole time. But, I have this rower. I have this mirror that I can do all these classes right from my own house, it's actually in my garage. They're tremendous products, and they're so easy to use. The mirror, I press a button, and it's like, oh, I'm in a boxing class. Oh, I'm stretching. Oh, I'm doing this. And you have all these different people helping you, these instructors. It's really marvelous. It's called technology. But Echelon is just a great product, a great company that, I never had any of this stuff in my house. And I have a bad back, so now I'm doing a stationary bike, but I'm like doing these races in different places all over the world with other people. And, I'm riding the bike. And it's just like with my ADD, I need that. It's pretty fascinating. Echelon offers the next generation of connected fitness bikes, fitness mirrors, rowing machines, and their all-new Echelon Stride Smart Treadmill. No matter what your favorite fitness activity, Echelon gives you a fun and challenging workout from the comfort of your home. World-class instructors will motivate you with thousands of daily live and on-demand studio-level classes, always available when you need them. And unlike their competitors, Echelon is affordable for everyone. And one membership lets up to 5 family members all work out at the same time. Right now, you can try Echelon fitness equipment at home for 30 days. When it comes to getting in shape, staying in shape, nothing feels as good as the feeling of accomplishment, hitting your goals, and feeling great about yourself. Go to echelonfit.com/inside of you. That's ECHELON fit.com/inside of you. Echelon. Affordable and amazing. I've had this where at the end of a season, they like, who did you like as a director? Nice ice cube in the glass. That was good, James. Good COVID. And so they'd say, Rosie, who do you like this season? I go, I liked everybody. I didn't like, this person was just that. I didn't like that. And they're like, oh, but it was a great episode. And I'm like, yeah. You asked me if I wanted to work. No, you know what I mean? Have they ever done that? We're like, oh, let's bring them back. I know you don't like them. No, didn't happen. See, that's power. You guys see? There it is.
No, it's like, and also it was like, even though we certainly encouraged directors to come in and do what they did because there wasn't like a stringent sort of model for how to shoot our show. Our show didn't live or die by, shot composition or stuff that directors were doing, as people turned on their TVs to laugh. So there was no director whose signature was going to override the vibe that we needed to make our show. So it didn't matter how good of an episode they made or how well paced it was.
Right.
Replace them with someone who is there to have a good time, and it's going to be better anyway.
And I just think it's important, which is what we did on Psych. But again, in this town, in this business, people take themselves way too seriously. Oftentimes, even though we're I guess reflecting humanity and reflecting society, we seem to lose our humanity in this business a lot, whether it's the actors and how they treat other people, whether it's directors or producers and how they treat other people. And I think the more that we can hold on to this, I guess the genuineness of ourselves and being able to really just respect other people just for being people, then you don't have those kind of issues. And thankfully on Psych, we just stayed in that lane. It was like, we're all here. We all have our unique gifts. We're all here to make good television, but we're not doing brain surgery.
Maybe it's allure. Maybe is allure the right word? It's just sort of like this idea that when you get to high school, sort of when you get to Hollywood, that you've got these directors and you've got these stories and we've got to live up to it, and I've got to be this and I've got to be this someone that I'm not because I've got to show them I'm a director and I have power. And you hear all these horror stories because you hear a lot of big directors. There's some big directors who are not easy to work with. Who are just, De Palma has made it clear he hates actors. I test screened for something years ago and I was like just a puppet. It was just like, over there, I want you to read with her. You read with Minnie. You read with him. Slow it down on that. Do it again. It was just like, it wasn't fun. It was just like, this guy has obviously done some brilliant movies, but it was, it was sort of uncomfortable. And I wonder if there's that. There's got to be that, people come to Hollywood and they're like, I'm a director and I finally have power and maybe I didn't have it. I was missing something in my childhood and now I feel like I have to overcompensate and be an asshole. Maybe that, I don't know.
And look, and actors are the same way. There's a lot of actors like that too. It always amazes me how actors will break their necks trying to audition to get jobs, especially when they first come to this town. And then as they start getting some level of success, now everything's a problem. It's like, just a year ago, you were begging for a job. And now it's like, it just drives me crazy sometimes. But I think as long as we can, the more that we can just appreciate the moment that we are in. And that's the good thing about even this whole pandemic. It's like, I think it's really being able to just let people take a step back for a second. To say that a lot of stuff that we get caught up in is very frivolous. It's very frivolous. And I think it's challenging us now to be more connected to just our humanity and what are we actually offering up to the environment around us.
We've been conditioned to accept so much hypocrisy in what we do. Mm-hmm. And it's what I was saying earlier. It's like, it's all it's all just sort of white noise that we think is part of it. It's like, oh, this is what I signed up for. But the truth is, none of us signed up for that. We signed up to tell stories and hopefully be good to our fellow man. And it's taking a 400-year in the making social uprising and an international pandemic for everybody to slow the fuck down and go, wait a second, like our industry is pretty ass backwards. Like, we love to hold up signs, and it's like, this is what the entertainment industry stands for. There's a lot of broken parts to this machine.
Yeah.
And a lot of broken parts that nobody talks about nearly enough. And now they're being talked about. And it's another one of the, I hope, positive byproducts of the world shutting down for a second.
Yeah, I think, it's very cliche, but I believe it's so true. It comes down to, it's just how much easier is it to be kind to people than it is to be mean to people? How much more energy does it take to be an asshole, to be racist, to be, it's just so easy. And the older I get, I'm just like, it's just let things go and just be gentle and kind as you can be. Whether you believe in God or not, I always say, it's like, I'll tell you, if there's a God, and you can believe what you want to believe, I believe what I want to believe. But maybe saying, you have fucked each other for the last how many years? You have destroyed this beautiful planet. You have done everything. I have given you everything that's in front of you, if that's what you believe, or not. But it doesn't even matter if you believe that or not, because it's the truth. You're given this planet, and we just keep shitting on it, shitting on each other. And at the end, maybe the whole end game is, well, we'll see. Are they going to just destroy each other and there'll be nothing left? That's where it's going. Or are they somehow going to come together and go, and the devil's over there, and the God's like, yeah, see, I knew they'd come together. And the devil's like, fuck you, God. There's something, I know it sounds crazy, but that, in simplistic sort of just, with the whole climate change and whether you believe it or not, just pick the fucking thing up, throw it away.
Look, it's kind of like the whole mask thing right now. The fact that even got politicized. Whether you believe it or not, how hard is it to throw on a mask for a little bit? If I could possibly save your life, if I'm wrong, okay,
even if it's a 1% chance, why is there an argument?
Just okay. Let me just throw on a mask. I can throw on a mask. It's not. It could possibly save your life. So sure, I could do it for a month, 2 months, maybe even 3. Sure, why not? And if it had nothing to do with it, then no harm, no foul. But if it did have something to do with it, then great. We just did a lot to squash this whole pandemic. But even that is an issue, because it's I have a right not to, and it's that. I know. We get more caught up in our rights and less caught up in our responsibility to our fellow man.
Yeah. Look, I want to ask a couple questions. First of all, when you were doing Psych 1, the first movie, right? And that was how many years ago?
Maybe 5, 4.
Right. And
something like that.
Well, you're about to film. You're in pre-production. Tell me if I'm wrong. And then one of your most beloved cast members, one of your best friends, Tim Omundson, has a stroke out of the blue. I mean, talk about something that just, have you guys talked about that? I mean, maybe I'm sure you have, but like, what was your first response, both of you, like, and how did you react to it?
It was shock. It's like the rug being pulled out from underneath you. I believe that you hit me, Roday. I think you called me.
Yeah.
And I said, what? Like, what? Like, it just, even as I think about it now, connecting those dots still don't connect in my mind. I'm like, wait, what happened? And it was to the level of being so serious that we weren't even too sure if he was going to make it. And again, it's those type of moments in life where life kind of is put on its axis, goes on its side, where we're a few weeks away from going to shoot a Psych movie, and then now we're talking about whether our brother's actually even going to see tomorrow. I mean, it just puts everything in perspective. Everything in perspective. But thankfully, we are such a family where, as he did start to come through, folks really rolled up their sleeves and said, we're going to make this happen. We're going to make it happen with him and for him. And then keep cheering him on to then be able to get to the second Psych movie. But I mean, I remember the moment he just really, I was shook. And Tim is a fit guy. Tim is, he's someone who exercises and ride his bike all over the place and this and that. I never would have expected that call,
Jeez. James?
Yeah, it was devastating, and a classic example of the perspective you gain when it lands on your own doorstep. Because you hear stories about stuff happening to young, healthy, fit people, and until it's right in front of your face, it's surreal, but it doesn't hit home the same way. I mean, like, he was 47 years old. He was in the best shape of his life. And trust us, we knew him since he was, 30 something. We saw all the different versions of Tim, and he really truly was in the best shape of his life.
And no heart problems, no pre-existing.
His career was apexing, he was coming off Gallivant, where he was sort of the breakout character of that show. He had just gotten another job where he was going to be working with Carol Burnett. Like, it was happening for him in a very exciting way. And so the last phone call you ever expect to get is that someone in that position, drops a major stroke out of nowhere.
And someone called you, James? Someone's called you?
Yeah. I heard from Maggie, who I'd heard, I believe, from Tim's wife. And the record just scratches and you stop and you don't know what to say. You don't know what to do for a second. And then, because we're all so close and we were all such a family, we were able to sort of shift gears pretty quickly into, what does Tim need? What's the best thing to do? How can we help the family? Like, it was a clear and obvious shift from to action. And I would expect nothing less from this group, but it really did. Like, that's what you do in that situation.
When was the first time you guys talked to him after it happened?
It was a minute, because like Dulé said, there was like a week there where his life was essentially hanging in the balance and we were getting updates, but he wasn't really talking to anybody. So I would say weeks.
Yeah, weeks at least, because it's all like a little blurry now, but I feel like I went to see him at the rehab center, and that was the first time I actually spoke to him.
How was that, Dulé? I mean, you had to get emotional?
Of course, yeah. It was emotional. It was emotional on two sides. It was emotional because it was heartbreaking, but it also was inspiring because Tim's spirit was so big. Still trying to like cracking jokes in the midst of what he's going through, and we just like seeing I guess the mental fortitude that you saw him forming in his mind to be able to keep pressing forward was inspiring.
He keeps beating every prognosis, and I'm sure he would be delighted to come on and talk to you, Rosie, because it's an amazing story, and he can tell it a hell of a lot better than we can. But it went from a priest coming to read him his last rites in front of his wife to doctors telling Allison, just prepare yourself. There's a very good chance that your husband's never going to walk again, and it's just like he just kept clearing hurdles. The dude's walking around. He is an inspiration to us all, and he's also been he's out there sort of as a stroke victim, spreading the word of like, hey, it doesn't have to end.
That's why I brought it up, because I feel like he wants to get the message out, and I wanted to bring that up, and I would love to talk to him. I think it's Rob Benedict. Rob Benedict?
Yeah,
because he had a stroke, I think, while he was doing Supernatural or something, but he had come on the podcast, and it was just an amazing story where his friend called up to his room, and he's about to come down, and he just starts talking like, and he's not making any sense. He's like, dude, what are you talking about, dude? And then he just ran up to this, and he got him, took him to the hospital, and It's amazing how that can happen so fast. And, it's like, and I think, you can't sit here and think about it all the time, right? We can't sit here and go, oh my gosh, and this and this. And my life is so, but you sort of do have to pay attention that we don't have much time. We just don't. It has to sink in and say, it's important. I try to every week, try to call my close friends, try to call my family and just say, I love you. So you just don't know. And I'm 48. This happened when he was 47. He's way healthier than I am. It can happen to anybody.
And you're right. We can't always live our life in the place of this could happen at any point. But I do think if we can, for example, if we knew that this was happening, even in that time when that was going on, it changes how you interact with people. And so I think if we could just honor the preciousness of life, then I think it would change how we interact with people. It would, certain things that I would, flip out about. I probably wouldn't if I knew that this moment was going to be my last moment, or this moment was going to be in your last moment, or next week was going to be your last moment. So I think if we can move forward in our life in that, under that umbrella, then I think, or through that lens anyway, it would really help the way that we interact with people. Because a lot of times it's like, it's not really that serious. Like this thing right here, that this little thing that's happening, it's not that serious. I can let that slide. And you know what? I would rather tell you that I love you before I leave instead of saying fuck you.
It comes back to kindness, right? It's so easy to just be kind and be aware of that.
And it's okay for me to still be upset about something, but it's like I don't need to take it there all the time. I can just, one of my favorite words is grace. It's like, I can just let a little bit of grace flow from outside of me, and hopefully some will come back my way too. In the midst of, in the midst of things, because I have learned. I lost my best friend when I was 15 years old. So I have learned that when even a person that you can't stand, a person that you really know that you really can't stand, even when they go away, you realize that a lot of those things weren't as serious. Not saying all of them weren't. Some of them were major, but there's a lot of things where it's like, you know what, that wasn't really that serious. I didn't need to hold on to that, so, like wave that like a banner everywhere I went. I could have just said, like, I could have let that go by the wayside. So that's one thing that, thankfully Tim has persevered through, but even in that moment, it kind of just reminded me of how fragile life is. So let's try our best to enjoy it.
It's just truly appreciating what you have informs every element of your behavior. And that's another thing that we've been conditioned by in this industry, is like, it's never enough, right? It's like, it doesn't matter how good we have it or what's in front of us. Our eyes are always, okay, but what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What can I turn this into, right? How can I take this and leverage it and turn it into that? And so I think a lot of times we forget how fleeting it all is and how fucking important it is to just stop and enjoy and savor and appreciate the moments that we have in this business, especially because so many other people don't get them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that informs how you act. That informs how you treat people. And I think other people, I don't think people are automatically resentful of someone just because they're successful. I think if people see a successful person appreciating that success and using it to help others, they can be thrilled for that person. I think resentment is born from watching people become successful assholes, and then it trickles down. So appreciation, I think, is another word that along with grace, that I think is.
Inside of You is brought to you by NHTSA. So important, Ryan. A lot of people, I think most people wear seatbelts, but there's always those few that just think, oh, I'm going around the corner, I'm not that far, or they're uncomfortable, or I'm in a rush. And, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And don't kid yourself, because there's no such thing as a good excuse for not buckling up. If you used any of the excuses I just mentioned, you're putting yourself at risk of injury or death. You're putting other people at risk as well, for sure. And that's the most important thing. Protect others, even if you don't want to protect yourself. In 2018, nearly 10,000 people were unbuckled when they were killed in crashes. That's 43% of people killed in motor vehicle crashes that were not wearing their seatbelts. Ridiculous.
No matter what kind of vehicle you drive, wearing your seatbelt is the best defense in a crash.
Even when you sit in the back seat, you still need to buckle up. That goes for you when you ride in taxis, you use ride sharing services too. You think these people are professionals? You're like, oh, look, I'm in a limo. I'm fine. You're not fine. Cops are on the lookout and writing tickets. So why take the risk? Seatbelts save lives. Do the smart thing and buckle up every trip, day or night. Click it or ticket. Inside of You is brought to you by Walgreens. All right, let's start with everyone out there who loves a good story. Now, narrow it down to all those passionate podcast listeners who are dedicated to living their best life. That's you, right? Well, Walgreens created a new, easier way to shop, save, and stay well just for you. It's called My Walgreens. And when you join, you'll discover personalized deals, instantly earn unlimited rewards, and receive real-time local health alerts. Join for free at mywalgreens.com. Exclusions apply. I didn't expect this conversation because it's usually we just laugh and talk shit but this is like so resonant.
You wouldn't give us your torso. You wouldn't give us your torso. You only gave us your head, and so this is what you get.
But can you not see me? But it's really like resonating with me. Like all the things you're saying, it's not like I'm just kind of like thinking of the next question. These are like I'm forgetting I'm interviewing you. Or, you know what I mean? It's like I'm going, wow. Oh, I should probably get back to maybe asking a question. It's just very. Yeah, what, Julie?
I say, especially based off of our text chain before we started the interview.
Oh my God!
Just so people will know, I guess 9 times out of 10, if Roday and I are texting each other, it could be anything. It could say, yeah, man, it's raining outside because there's literally rain falling. One of us is going to text back to each other. You don't know what's falling outside on outside, so stop texting me this bullshit, please.
All right, I'm gonna.
So Rosenbaum, I think, was a little shook today because that's what was.
I'm gonna read you this. I'm gonna read you something. This is our text chain. If we don't like it, we just cut it. Don't worry about it. 11:30, guys. I'll send the link right before. Dulé, don't tell me what to do. James Roday, we're getting the COVID protocol breakdown. I'll hop off as soon as I can, but I will not be early. How dare you, says me, and boring. James, it's pretty insane. Dulé, you don't know when you hop on, so please stop texting bullshit. Rosenbaum, I don't understand. James, truth being stranger than fiction of your dumb bullshit. This is how we speak to each other, Rosie. Stay out of it. Oh, sorry guys. I'm erect. Weird. I'm the one who says something dirty. James, no, that tracks. Dulé, yep, it does. James, okay, I'm in. That was a conversation. That says it.
That's
We're almost done here. The whole James Roday Rodriguez thing, I think it's really cool, and you could be brief about it. I know you've probably talked about it a ton, but that was your surname, right? You changed it because originally you're like, oh, that shouldn't be, I'm not going to get any work with Rodriguez, correct?
It was a long time ago. I'm very happy to say that the experience that I had, in 1998, I don't think would ever happen today. So we're looking for silver linings and we're looking for signs of some positive growth. I don't think there is a scenario where anyone would feel comfortable telling an actor to change their name anymore in this business. So that's a good thing. And I did it. I made a choice, and because I made that choice and then started building a career, I think I was blinded by the momentum and by the success that I was having, and it just never occurred to me that reclaiming my birth name was something that I could do, which is 100% on me, because I could have done this 10 years ago. I could have done this 5 years ago. This was not an elusive thing that I couldn't do. But again, as we've been saying, I think everything that's happening in the world right now and the forced stoppage is what sort of enlightened me in a number of ways. One of which was, what, I need to talk to my father. I need to have like a real conversation that goes beyond checking in and maybe updating one another on some football shit. And when I did that, I heard a lot of stuff that I'd never heard before about my grandparents, about their experience as first generation Mexican Americans in this country, about his experience, stuff. I mean, stories that I had never heard. And I'm 44, and I was really moved, and because of that, I felt like, wait a second, why haven't I ever thought about this before? Why am I still not using my name? That's ridiculous. And I think I think you can also turn it and go, well, that's also very convenient, dude. Like, you waited until you had a career and now you're going to reclaim your heritage. And I accept that criticism as valid. And I have really no argument against it, other than to say that this was the journey, and this specific moment in time is what popped me in the face and woke me the fuck up. And I want to be the best ally I can to the people that I love. And I can't do that if I'm not even putting my own truth out there. So once all of that came together, honestly, it was probably the easiest decision I've ever made in my life. It's like, oh, well, duh.
What'd your dad say when you told him?
He was very touched, because, to my father's credit, it's the only phone call I made, 20 years ago when I changed my name. I said, Dad, I got to run this by you. It's being heavily suggested to me with my first job sitting in the palm of my hand, to not go by Rodriguez, because it's going to be confusing and people don't, there could be like a weird backlash. And he was like, son, cut me off. And he said, son, dude, this is your dream. You got to do whatever you got to do. Because no one in my family had any concept of like succeeding as an artist. Like that was always a pipe dream anyway. So the fact that there was any kind of reality attached to this pipe dream was a lot for all of us to digest. And he didn't question it for a second. He totally let me off the hook. And as soon as I had his blessing, I didn't ask him. I didn't call anybody else. I just did it, and that was that. And I know he never expected something like this. And I know it meant a great deal to him, because I've heard him tell stories about how when he is excited, he worked in the car business for a long time. And so people would come in and there was always a picture of me, and they'd be like, oh, if they recognize me, they're like, oh my God, you have a picture of James Roday. He's like, yeah, it's my son. And they would never believe him. And so he would always have to like pull up the Wikipedia page or the IMDb page to show that, because my name is out there. You just have to you have to Google to find it. And when I heard some of those stories, I was like, oh man, I can't believe this. No father should have to do that. And so I think finding out meant a lot to him, but also seeing the credit on the Psych movie, this second Psych movie, seeing, his name for the first time in 20 something years, I think it meant a lot to him.
I love it. It's funny because I remember being in New York, living in a 1-bedroom with 4 guys. And I was like, Rosenbaum. Michael Rosenbaum. No one's going to hire me. Do we want to see Michael Rosenbaum for this role? What? No, we want to see Ted Geiger. It just came out of me. So I thought, what do you think? My middle name's Owen. Michael Owen. Owen Michael. Michael Rose. Michael Rose Owens. And then just my buddy goes, dude, don't be a fuckwad. Keep your fucking name. Look at Schwarzenegger. Fuck off. Streisand. And I go, oh, okay. And that was it. My friend Matt Ballard, keep your fucking name. Don't be a douchebag. And I go, all right. That was it. I listened to him because I was thinking about it. All right, we're really close.
Yeah, but you know what I will say though is I applaud Roday in making the choice, because I mean, we don't always realize the domino effect. We don't always realize the ripple effect that we have. Mm-hmm. And there's so many people who are fans of James Roday who loves the work he's done over the years. So many, even in the Psych world, that I think seeing Rodriguez will tear down some mental barriers that people have in their mind. I love that guy. And his name is James Roday Rodriguez.
I love that.
So many barriers that we don't even realize that the
that's profound.
Effect that it will have.
I agree. That's true. When they see that, it's also a respect thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. In fact, I'm actually thinking now changing my name to Michael Rosenbaum, Jew.
With the hyphen?
Yeah. Yeah,
what do you think?
maybe Rosenbaum Jew. Yeah, so it's like, hyphenating. I think that's going to really work. I know you hate this because when we text and I do a voicemail and I sing something, James immediately responds with who sang it and what it is, and then Dulé says "fuck off." So I'm just going to give a few songs real quick, and you tell me who sings it. If you leave me now.
I know the song, but I don't know who sings it.
James?
Oh man, it's in that pocket of like Air Supply, Christopher Cross. It's soft.
Chicago.
Chicago. It's soft.
All right.
This
one's easy. Dulé, you don't have a chance. I feel fine.
That would be track number 1 on the Sunday's second album.
Right, there you go.
I feel.
All right.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is how my response normally goes to this when this goes on in the text chain. I don't know what the fuck that is. But will you please stop texting me this fucking bullshit?
That's what it is. All right, hey, a couple more. Come on. Something happened along the way.
I know that song. I don't know who sings it though.
We used to be, we're happy, we're sad.
Michael
McDonald?
No. Something happened along the way.
Hold on. Yeah. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yes, Dulé.
Man.
All right.
Nice.
Philip Bailey.
You are the sun. You
are the moon
that makes my life this foolish game.
You need Lionel Richie?
Yes! Oh my God! Look at Dulé!
Love you so.
Yeah.
When I'm in the shower, I'm afraid to wash my hair.
Good old Rocky Rockwell.
Now,
we know that one way too well now.
Well,
Yes.
that parody you did killed me. And what did you say? You said, I always feel like Psych is all they see. And it talks about it is the funniest, I love it.
Oh,
You're in the shower with your clothes on, rubbing yourself.
Yeah,
craziness.
because if you zoom in on different frames of that video, it's like there's a whole sequence where he's wearing sweatpants in the shower because they just must have told him like, oh, we can't see your legs. So it's like, oh, we'll just throw him in a full sweatsuit.
and we have to give a shout out for that too, because I don't think he got enough credit. It was Steve Franks actually wrote the lyrics.
All Steve.
Oh, so funny.
Roday hit him up and he just went to work and really just knocked out the lyrics. He did a great job with that.
And you're singing it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, good guys. So I'm just making sure.
Steve sent me his microphone, and he and his son got on like a FaceTime with me and taught me how to use GarageBand. And in my garage, I sat there and I recorded this song.
Oh, it's beautiful. All right, this is it. This is called Shit Talking with Rosenbaum. These are patrons of mine, and they're just asking questions, rapid fire, so you can just nail it. I didn't even read these yet. So, Wendy Feldblum, better keep your name, Wendy. James, did you get to make up any of the nicknames for Dulé's character Gus, or were they all scripted?
Both, but I made up plenty.
Jamie Crawford, what is your favorite nickname for Gus throughout the series?
I always say Lavender Gooms because Gooms.
I would say Gus Silly Pants Jackson because it was the first, you know what I mean? It was the spark that started the fire.
That's right.
Nico, what's your favorite 90s jam, both of you?
Oh.
It's probably the closest thing to a jam that they ever did, but since we're on topic and I know you're a fellow Sundays lover, I'll say Summertime because it's a pretty good song to put on in the summer.
What a beautiful song.
And that was 97, I think, so that counts.
And it's you and me. Kimberly Garcia, do you ever catch yourself being like Sean and Gus together?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, we have ladies to keep us in check.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm reading this, but Emily Sudol wants to know, would you rather live the rest of your life with silent but uncontrollable gas or loud, uncomfortable sneezing?
Wow, that's dark on either side. But I guess I would say
gas. I'd shit it up. No one's going to know it's me. God, what's that smell? But apparently people would start to go, did you always smell?
Yeah. It's you. You always
smell.
But here's the thing. Sometimes, when you just you're by yourself when you have gas. It doesn't smell as bad as, it's kind of like a stinky aroma to yourself. So
plus, you could make moves. You could put pillows over yourself. You could always be under a heavy blanket. Like you could try to take other people into consideration.
You could always go jogging. You could always be running in life. You could really just literally run through life.
You could Franca Potente that shit.
Brent Meredith, where did the different catchphrases come from? Come on, son. I've heard it both ways.
Come on, son is Ed Lover. That's not ours. We just co-opted it.
It literally was me being in the trailer watching Ed do his Come On Son series on our YouTube. And I called Roday into the trailer because I was laughing so much. And then we had to go shoot. And we went to set and we did it. And I actually gave a shout out to Ed Lover, and then it started from there.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Dave Plavy, do you appear at conventions? Would love to have you as guests once that gets going.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite a while before. I mean, we've only been to like, I think one maybe.
Yeah, we did one together.
But I think it's going to be quite a while before you see us showing up at a convention, especially in this time and beyond. I'm not really trying to be in a room for 1,000 people like that.
It's going to be a while. Dude, you guys I love talking to you. I hate that we don't, I mean, we all have our lives, but look, man, I love talking. I appreciate you taking the time. It's always fun and easy, and thanks for opening up. And I might bug you about getting Tim on because I don't have his connection. Maybe one of you talk to him?
I will send it to you as soon as we leave this room.
You hear that, guys? Pretty cool.
It's going to happen.
Dude, I love you both. I wish you all the health and happiness. Thank you again, and I'll be in touch. Just send me
Stay safe, Rosie.
All right, I love you. Bye. Yeah, I want. There's some guests you just want on every year. You know, like there's the Zach Levi, and then there's the Dak Shepard, and then there's the Dulé, James Roday, Rodriguez. There's the the Jamie Lynn Sigler. There's the Stephen Amell. There's a lot of people that I'm like, every year I got to have these guys back on.
Yeah,
updates, and they're a lot of fun, and they're just really great guests to have. We got other great guests coming up, guests that I've been really working on. So. Nathan Fillion is coming up, and really great ones towards the end of the year, and then the new year we're trying to stack them. So get your friends, tell them to step up. Email 30 friends and say, or 100 friends, say subscribe, will you? Handles once again, Ryan.
At Inside of You Pod on Twitter, at Inside of You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, youtube.com/Inside of You.
That's right. Make sure if you want to join Patreon and support the show even more, go to Patreon, patreon.com/Inside of You. Online store, take 15% off anything, any merch. Inside, code INSIDE15, 15% off on Inside of You online store. Stage it this Saturday, 2 of them. I'm performing live. You can just come watch. It's like a big family. Play a lot of fun music, and the new album's coming out soon. But go to stage.com, type in Michael Rosenbaum, and you'll see the shows for this Saturday. Yeah, I think that's it. But why don't I read off the names? Isn't that important?
Usually.
I think it is. Here they come. Drum roll, please. Is that your drum roll?
Yeah.
Nancy D, Leah S, Trisha, Sarah V, Little Lisa, Yukiko, Jill E, Brian H, Lauren G, Gatorade, Nico P, Robin S, Jerry W, Emily, Robert I, Jason W, Stephen J, Kristen K, Amelia O, Allison L, Jess J, Lucas M, Raj C, Joshua D, Emily S, CJ P, Samantha M, Hamza B, Jennifer N, Jackie P, Stacy L, Carly H, Jennifer S, Janelle B, Carrie B, Tabitha 272, not to be confused with
Tabitha 273,
Ashley R, Kimberly E, Crystal H, Mikey, Marissa N, Jack S, Slater's back, Ramira, Beth B, Santiago M, Sarah F, Chad W, Leanne P, Roshan, Ray A, Maya P, Megan J, Maddie S, Tiffany I, Kendrick F, Ashley E, Shannon, Matt W, Belinda N, Lisa J, Kevin V, Robert S, James R, Chris H, Snow R, Anusha W, Osborne, Gabby M, Dave H, Samantha S, Spider-Man Chase, Sheila E, G, Sheila G, Ray H, Alyssa C, Jacob H, Tabitha T, Misha H, Deb A, Tom N, Natalie 622, not to be confused with
Natalie 623,
Allie B, Henry S, Katie F, Daniela V, and Liliana A. Newbies. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and supporting the podcast. And again, a big shout out to Emily Sudol. Who else? Jennifer. for winning the Stagits, and Deb Alexa for also winning. You guys are amazingly supportive, and I love getting to Zoom with you at the end of Stagit. Here's a quick letter from April. Hello from Ohio. The greatest entertainers are those that can put a piece of themselves into their character and still be true to themselves. I'm working from home, and I have been longing for a piece of the normal we once had. I came across your podcast about 2 months ago. It brings me back to the days of the office life where we had to face-to-face conversations about the issues that plague us on a day-to-day basis. Your show provides an escape from our current reality. It makes me feel better knowing that everyone is going through their own struggles and can be open about it. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your life and time with the world. April. Very kind of you. Ooh, it's very kind of you. Mm. There was this baseball announcer, Bob Murphy for the Mets, and he had this voice like, beautiful day for a ball game, fans filing in off the subway ramp. This game is brought to you by Toyota. It drives like a dream, too. And he'd say, harmless cumulus clouds lingering overhead, fans filing in. He said, now it's honeydew season, folks. Honeydew this and honeydew that. And my uncle met him once, my Uncle Dave, and he goes, oh, Bob Murphy, you're my favorite announcer of all time. And Bob looked at him and goes, ooh, that is so very kind of you. I wonder if they have those voices like all the time. Hey, Han, can you get some plums? Yes, I'll get some plums. You know,
have you seen the show Brockmire?
No.
It's Hank Azaria that was basically the premise of the show, was what happens when those baseball announcers with the soft, silky voices, what happens when they go home?
I came up with that idea 20 years ago. I was always like going, that should be a show.
It's
that should be
funny.
That's great. I got to watch that.
Yeah, the opening is because he comes home and his wife is having like a sex party. And so then he goes like to the game the next day, and he just sort of he has too much to drink, and he just exposes all of it like on air, like during in the middle, and he's still calling the strikes and everything, and like the voice.
Well, that was like Harry Carey. Yeah. Harry Carey would do that. He'd be drunk by the 5th inning, and he'd be like, you ever open up a box of Cracker Jacks, Steve? There's a ground ball to say over to Durham for the out. It's got to be the most asinine thing in the world to open up a box of Cracker Jacks. That's a fly ball back to left caught by Dunston. You know, and to open up a box and there's no prize inside. There's a high fly to right field. Back goes Henderson. It's gone. You know, and he would just
so good. It's so good.
I love it. And I love you guys. So thank you for listening. Continue to do so. Thank you, Westwood One. Thank you, Ryan, my amazing editor and engineer. I love him very much. Thank you, Bryce. I love you very much. You're a mensch. You guys help the show incredibly. I'm lucky to have you guys, and I'm lucky to have everybody listening and sponsoring us and supporting us. And you're just trying to take it day by day. I'm like, hey, we have a lot of sponsors today, and I'm like, this is good. You know, you guys are with me those days when we had 0 sponsors for quite a while, or one and 0 and 1. And it's nice. I just, me, I'm neurotic. I'm like, but what about if it slows down? Of course it's going to slow down. There's, ups and downs, peaks and valleys. But, right now I'm going to live in the moment. Just say, hey, it's nice to, have people supporting the show, Westwood One. It's nice to have you guys listening, and hopefully you'll continue and spread the word. I love you all. Thank you for listening, and thank you for allowing me to be inside of each and every one of you. Wave, Ryan. Night, Gracie.